Hey Star Wars fans, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be discussing the upcoming Star Wars series coming to Disney Plus, The Acolyte. Recently, it has come out that the show does not plan to film until fall of 2023 and wrap in spring 2024. This likely means that The Acolyte will not be released until fall or winter of 2024. I'd like to give my take on what to expect for this show and how it may connect to the larger Star Wars universe. If you haven't already, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all of our Star Wars news and reviews. We don't know a ton about this series, but information has been slowly coming out since it was first announced a couple years ago. The Acolyte will be dark side focused, which seems to be a trend in a lot of the newer projects recently. We have heard rumors that the Inquisitors, specifically Reva, will be a big focus of the Kenobi series, but the Acolyte will be the first series where the dark side or a Sith will be the primary focus of the show. To me, this is very exciting, and I hope that we go deep into the lore of the Sith, which has been minimally touched upon so far in the Disney era of Star Wars. I want to see how the Sith were able to hide their presence from the Jedi for so long and what their training looks like. We know that this story will take place near the end of the High Republic era. This may not excite a lot of fans who have not embraced the High Republic books and comics, but as a fan of these stories, I'm excited to see how the already established storylines feed into the Acolyte. I would love to see some of the characters that we have already come to know through the comics. Specifically, Avar Kriss, Sskeer, and Keeve Trennis would be amazing to see fleshed out in live action. We have also learned that the lead role for the Acolyte belongs to Amanda Stenberg, who you may know from her role as Rue in The Hunger Games. The character's name has been released as Ara, however they have used codenames previously if they want to hide the character's actual identity. I can't help but get really strong Keeve Trennis vibes from Amanda. Having this series follow Keeve would be both heartbreaking as well as completely amazing. Let me break down why I feel that this may in fact be the direction that they are taking this show. First things first, for those of you that haven't kept up with the High Republic, Keeve Trennis is the main protagonist of the Marvel Star Wars High Republic comic run, written by Cavan Scott. We first meet her as a Padawan, studying with her Trandoshan master, Sskeer. We see her pass her trials to become a Jedi Knight, and then follow her on missions against the Drengir and the Nile. She is a fierce warrior, wielding an awesome double-bladed green lightsaber. Keeve is constantly questioning her abilities, curses, and overthinks everything. I think that many readers can really relate to her, which has made her a fan favorite. Now, the most obvious reason that I jumped to this conclusion is that Star Wars is really pushing the High Republic era. They have cranked out 9 novels, multiple children's books, as well as 4 separate comic runs within this era. It would not make much sense to develop an entire cast of characters in the books and comics only to start from scratch in a live-action series that is set during this same time period. This would be a huge payoff for all fans of the High Republic, and would be an easy way to try and pull more fans into the High Republic books and comics. I also think that the timing of the books and comics could line up for this pretty well. We just recently finished Phase 1 of the High Republic, and beginning this fall, Phase 2 of the High Republic begins, which goes back in time another 150 years to cover some backstory. Phase 3 will likely return to the characters we have already been introduced to, finishing their stories. Phase 3 will most likely be out in mid to late 2023, and so these storylines could be wrapping up just before The Acolyte airs, which would create some seamless transitions of storytelling. The other reason that I believe this series will be about Keeve Trennis is the fact that she is almost certainly one of the Lost Jedi. We have 2 separate references for this specifically. The first is in the audiobook Dooku, Jedi Lost, which coincidentally is written by Cavan Scott, the same author who has written the High Republic comics. In Dooku, Jedi Lost, there is a reference to Master Trennis being part of the Last Jedi, which basically is just the name of all the Jedi who have left the Order, with likely a good number of them falling to the dark side. Yoda mentions that it was sad when Master Trennis left the Jedi, which implies that he knew her. So this would make sense if it were in fact Keeve, since Yoda was around during this time period as well. Cavan Scott has denied that there is a direct connection, but I think he may just be keeping things close to the chest. In the prequel trilogy, the Last 20, as they were then called, included none other than Count Dooku. Each of the last 20 had a bust in the Jedi Temple. If you look closely, there is a scene where one of the busts looks very similar to Keeve Trennis, again reinforcing this theory. I have heard some contradicting information about exactly when the Acolyte series takes place in the Star Wars timeline. If the show takes place only 80 to 100 years BBY, this may be too late in the timeline for Keeve to still be around. However, to my knowledge, none of this has been confirmed. So my money is on Keeve Trennis falling away from the Jedi Order in Phase 3 of the High Republic comics and books, then to become the Acolyte in her very own live-action series. It would be heartbreaking to see her fall to the dark side, mimicking Anakin's fall. It would be interesting to see what causes her to become jaded with the Jedi Order, and devastating to see her go against some of her former friends. My prediction is that this series would start with her still being a Jedi, but feeling drawn to the dark side. She may be pulled to the dark side by some hidden Sith, or maybe some other non-Sith dark side user. We could follow her struggle and have the first season end with her fully embracing the dark side, setting us up for either multiple seasons or perhaps a movie adaptation of this timeline. Frankly, I think this is exactly what the Star Wars franchise needs: complex characters and darker tones in the storyline. This is the reason why Revenge of the Sith remains one of the most popular movies in the Star Wars saga. We get enough of the heroes winning. Seeing a fallen hero is intriguing, refreshing, and somewhat unique. If this ends up being where they take the series, I'm excited to see it. Let me know your thoughts below in the comments. Do you think the Acolyte is Keeve? If not, what are your predictions for this series? Please make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all things Star Wars. Thanks, and may the Force be with you.